Deshaun Tate.
All right, Deshaun, you ready, big man?
Let's do it. Ready to go.
Now, by the way, we still for guys just tuning in. Deshaun is one of the hardest working guys here at the game and does a great work on the website. He lives for college hoops, and we want to give him a chance to talk.
Thank you, man.
Yes, we do. And I wanted to ask you, first and foremost, we got some big games coming up this weekend, but everybody's talking about the Grayson Allen play last night. Now, if you missed it, Grayson Allen seems to have a history of trying to trip guys. Tripping is not a part of hoops. Okay, he's tripping guys. Grayson Allen is one of the best players, certainly on Duke, one of the best players in the country. What's going on here, and is he a dirty player? Because that's the notion I'm getting now after not one, but we've seen two blatant attempts to try to hurt guys.
And that's what I was going to say, Carl. When you have a situation where a guy go and does it twice, and we're not just talking about twice in the same season, we're talking about twice in like the same week. And so you're kind of looking at it like a lot of people kind of want to overlook it because, Coach K and Duke and what kind of program he likes to run there. And so a lot of people's mindset is kind of like, no, well, Coach K wouldn't have guys on his team do stuff like that and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I forget the guy from the backup point guard from Cleveland that has a history of kind of playing dirty like that. Dellavedova.
Yeah.
So it's almost along the same lines of something like that. And dirty is dirty. Dirty is dirty. And was not a fan of it. Not good basketball.
Duke was going to win the game regardless. That's the thing.
Agreed.
They were going to win the game, and if you want to play get back, I just think this is a cheap, petty way to do it. If you've not seen the footage, I tweeted it out this morning. I put them up, see Duke, so you could check it out. But yeah, I thought it was a dirty play. That's Grayson Allen for Duke. Let's talk about some of the games this weekend, man. That we're looking at some big games coming up. You got number 3 Oklahoma, who I absolutely love, Buddy Hield. He's an amazing player. I don't know if he's going to be the player of the year. They've got Texas, who's ranked 25. Just some other games. Maryland taking on Purdue. You got North Carolina at Virginia. What's the game that stands out for you?
I think it's probably Carolina. The Carolina game. I like what Carolina's going to be doing moving forward. Now, obviously, there's been some questions about Carolina, and one of my biggest questions is probably their toughness in comparisons to other years where they were pretty much the favorite, just like they were this year, to cut down the nets and win a national championship. And a guy like Bryce Johnson, who's up for a potential Player of the Year award, he gets so much recognition on that team. It's crazy and deservingly so, but there's other guys on that team that if they are going to win a championship, then they're going to have to be just as productive, if not more. Guys like Justin Jackson, who doesn't get, nearly as much notoriety as one in Bryce Johnson. Kennedy Meeks is going to have to be that big guy that's going to be relied upon a lot. And, of course, last but not least, the two elephants in the room, if they're going to cut down the nets in Houston, then it's going to be Roy Williams from a coaching standpoint and Marcus Page.
He's our guy, Deshaun Tate, by the way. Follow him on Twitter at Tates Take Sports, right there, man. He's our hoops expert. What about, you mentioned Virginia, they had that tough loss to Miami. They almost pulled it out. We saw another loss for Villanova as number 1 to Xavier. You trust Jay Wright and Villanova in the big games?
Absolutely not. I'm not. I mean, the thing about Villanova is that, they're going to run so many of those guards out there, and I get it. If you're going to win a national championship or you're going to make really deep runs, you're going to have those guards. But you've got to have that big guy that's going to give you a little bit more than just one weekend. And that's the thing that concerns me about them. And that's even the same thing that kind of concerns me a little bit about a team like Oklahoma as well, where you got the big guy in the middle, Ryan Spangler at Oklahoma, but relying so much on Buddy Hield kind of makes me feel like he's being run into the ground a little bit. So with throwing all those guards out there, as they did a few years ago when they went to the Final Four, I'm just not really sure if they're the type of team that's built to make that kind of run.
He's a college football guy, should I say college basketball guy. Deshaun Tate joining us here in studio. Follow him on Twitter at Tates Take Sports, all right? That's Tates Take, as in Take Sports, and check out his takes on college hoops. As far as CBS expanding its I guess its show from 1 hour to 2 hours, Selection Sunday, who's your locks, by the way, right now, if you had to say these are the teams that are going to be representing each region? Do you know?
Yeah. I'd say North Carolina will probably likely be probably be the overall number 1 seed. They'll get their act together. I think Michigan State will also be a lock for a number 1 seed.
You're too close to
Kansas.
it. I know
how you feel. I know how you feel, Mike. But Kansas will be a number 1 seed. Actually, you know what? I'll scratch North Carolina for the overall number 1. They'll get a number 1, but Kansas will get the overall number 1. And last but not least, I think I might I might have to go with Xavier on that one. I might have to go with Xavier.
All right,
especially if they win the conference tournament over Villanova.
As we said, they hadn't beat Villanova in years, and they finally got off the schneid. And Ben Simmons and LSU going to make a run?
Absolutely. Can't imagine the NCAA tournament without Ben Simmons.
Really?
That's where I'm going with it. Yep.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I think I got them in the NIT as of right now. They're going to have to make a run in the SEC
Arthur's
tournament.
shaking his head. LSU, man, does not buy it. They got to go make some noise in the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some noise. We'll see.
Arthur, you have little faith.
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, Deshaun, great stuff, man, and we appreciate it. He'll be joining us throughout the course of leading up to March Madness as we get to conference tournaments, and then, of course, as we get into March Madness, their third week in March.
And I think we're going to try to get you to Houston for the Final Four. I know that that was a bone of contention. Hey, it was in Indy last year. I think we're going to probably UPS him there, Carl.
Yeah, he said he wants to go, so we'll try to get him there.
Are you cool with that?
Deshaun Tate.
I'm all good with that. Got to see if I can bring my baby face with me, though.
Yeah, please. You need to make sure you're of age. You're going to get carded everywhere
Big man
you
just
go.
took off his goatee. He looks like he's 12 years old.
He does.
Thanks to Sean.
Never heard a complaint from a woman.
Go online at 929thegame.com for more of Deshaun.